Hey, what is going on, guys? I am back with yet another interview as usual, but I'm visited by a very, very special guest today. Washington Post Gene Park, everybody. You are a style culture critic for the Washington Post, covering digital and arts and entertainment. I did pull that from the Washington Post site. You joined the Post in 2015, but a lot of people probably know you from Last Stand Media, I assume, people visiting from Punching Up. What's up, dude? How are you? And tell me a little bit about yourself if people don't know you.
Good, Dayton, right? Is that how I
Yes.
pronounce
Yeah,
it? Yeah,
Dayton. Yep.
Dayton. Yeah, good name. Dayton. Yeah, thanks for having me
Yeah,
on.
of course.
Yeah, you got the description right, and I actually just wrote that description last week because I have to
Oh, was that new?
change. I had to change
Interesting.
my
Okay.
description because I saw people, uh, like dismissing. I saw people dismissing my opinions on like Spielberg because they're like, "Well, he's a video games critic. What does he know about movies?" And like, I actually know a lot about movies and
You're like, I like
music
art.
and all kind. Yeah. I like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I just won't write about Marvel movies either. Although I did just
But you
write
did.
my review on Spider-Man: Brand New Day, which was good.
Yeah, I want
It
to
was
talk.
good.
I want to talk to you about that. I don't know if you saw. I'm a huge comic book nerd, and I'm a little
Okay.
mixed on it. I've seen it twice so far. I saw it
That's right.
last
Yeah, I
night,
saw I saw that too. Yeah, I
and
thought it was
yeah,
good, but like but like I'm not gonna come out and say like, oh my god, this is the best live action Spider-Man ever. I'm like,
I saw you
if you
tweeting
really
about
like,
Spider-Man too. Come on now, it's like art.
yeah, it's not Spider-Man 2. And it's like, look, if you really like have a focus on like Peter Parker, like the accuracy of Peter Parker, then I can see why you might like this one the best
Yeah,
because, like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, we love him. He wasn't exactly like the most like comic accurate Peter Parker.
yeah,
He was kind of his own thing. Which I loved. I preferred. I kind of preferred that. I love that it
yeah.
was his own thing. But anyways, we're kind of
No,
getting into the
no,
weeds of
no, no
Spider-Man
worries at
here.
all.
I mean, we have plenty of time for that too, for
Totally.
sure.
Yeah, yeah,
So
we'll talk about it. So I guess Gene, I usually have things laid out, and I kind of told you before this, and I'm like weird about my notes, but I wanted to talk about the discussing film thing.
sure.
You can like start wherever you want to start, and then I'll hop in and talk about my experience of this. If nobody knows what discussing film is, it's a very big Twitter account that reports on new films. I mean, I have their notifications on, or have for a very long time. Yeah, tell me your side of the stuff, and then I'll kind of hop in and tell you what happened to me because it's very bizarre.
Yeah, sure. So discussing film is basically one of those aggregators on Twitter that have become popular in the past like 8 or so years, I think. Um, where they basically just take news, breaking news from other sites, other reporters, other content creators as well, and just announce it.
Yeah.
That it's a one-stop shop for your news. I actually did a little research on this. So their founder Jacob Fisher is a huge Star Wars nerd.
Okay.
Um, and so he basically started it as a way to, just keep up to date with Star Wars news because, there's just a lot of Star Wars
And
news
what and
going
what
around.
year was that? Do you know what year that was?
I think it was like 2016 or 2017 or something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
I forget exactly.
Yeah.
There was a story I think in like either Esquire or one of those like magazines. If you just do a Google search, it should
Right. Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
pop up. If you do a search for Jacob Fisher and everything like that. Um, and yeah, they have about 3 million followers on Twitter. Very, very well known account. And over the years, they've had their own. They've expanded to have their own website, their own web presence, their own content, if you will. So they do reviews. They do coverage. So, they were just there at San Diego Comic Con. So that's great, and that's something that I have no issue with. I
Yeah.
actually just did a story with Anthony Fantano, the internet's busiest music nerd, who is a content creator on YouTube. And he does have his own site, theneedledrop.com, where he employs freelance writers to, write news and write commentary and stuff like that for that. But, for me, like Fantano comes from a place of like I've like, and I have no issue with Dust Guns and Film having their own site too, right?
Yeah.
But I
I
can
don't
respect.
either.
Of course, I can respect, but I respect Fantano more because Fantano, one, not only does come from like a traditional news journalism background,
Hmm.
he worked at NPR, like he was like down in the dirt, doing music coverage for like local NPR, which is about as local as you can get. Like I have a
Very.
deep
Yeah.
respect for that, and he was able to translate that into becoming a very early on content creator, and he was smart about kind of establishing himself in that space. But it was always original commentary. It's always original opinion. Love him or hate him, and trust me, I disagree with him like 70% of the time, but I do love him quite a bit.
Just about music, like do you disagree with him about a lot?
About music, maybe like 70-60% of the time. Right. I think his takes are like quite off, at least from my own perspective. Yeah. But I respect him so much because even from his own site, it's always coming from a place of originality from his own self, or something that does take a lot of effort and everything. Whereas discussing film, they're just aggregators. I don't really have a lot of respect for aggregators. There was a video game aggregator called Nibellion, who decided to suddenly quit Twitter several years ago. And for whatever reason, the games industry got it in their head that this was a huge loss to the industry. And they even nominated him for Content Creator of the Year at the Game Awards. And I looked around and I was like, has everyone got crazy? Like this guy hasn't contributed anything original to anything, period.
That was the Twitter account with like, I just want it for people that don't know. It was like the anime head, right? With like the
It was Saitama, or Mob, yes. The character from Mob.
It was like social media lost. Like it was like a funeral. Like that's what it felt like. People were mourning him on Twitter when he retired, basically.
Yeah, and this was just a guy who just didn't. I'm gonna be quite frank. He didn't do anything valuable enough for anyone to pay for. That's what it is. And you can say the same for newspapers and blah blah blah. That's fine. But that was all the ultimate reality, and he just packed up his bags and left, and he just left, and I think that was smart of him. Thank goodness that he did that. Yeah. But to put him on his pedestal as some kind of hero or something, it was just very bizarre to me. A lot of people have asked me too. Well, what do you think about Wario 64? Now, Wario 64, who has a Suda 51 logo, and probably a lot of you listeners know him. He is also a news aggregator account, but he is primarily like a deal seeker. Mm-hmm. He actually does a public service. He's very good about finding, hey, this is on Best Buy right now, this is on Walmart right now, this is over on this site, this is over on that site. He's an Amazon partner, so he's very transparent about the sponsorships that he does, the deals that he does. But he also provides a valuable service that is actionable.
I think it's beneficial, right? Like it helps people. Not that these aggregators don't, but it's kind of like you put him into a megaphone and that's all, right? But versus like Wario, like you find deals, like he can benefit the person reading it, right? So there's
an actual actionable benefit that he is providing to the public. And that takes a lot of work too. And not to say that aggregating doesn't take a lot of work either. DrudgeReport.com is probably the most famous aggregator of all time. I don't know how much clout he has right now, but I know that he's still a good fire hose of traffic for a lot of different sites. Certainly, when I worked at the Hawaii paper, and I don't know if we want to get into my background too.
No, please. I would love nothing more. Yeah.
Yeah, but like a lot of people knows me as a games journalist, but one thing a lot of people get confused is that they think I've been doing games journalism for like 20 some years or whatever. That I'm not a Colin Moriarty, I'm not a Greg Miller, I'm not a Brian Altano. I haven't really cared about games all that much in terms of gaming news. I only kind of fell into it, and that's a whole other story.
Which I love that for you too. It's kind of why I think a lot of people are attracted to you, and why I'm definitely. I love that you're a journalist first, and then you just so happen to got into games at the Washington Post, and exactly, I think that's awesome.
I've mostly covered crime, cops, courts, business, military, education, that kind of stuff. What was I saying?
You're talking about the aggregation or the aggregators and stuff like that, and discussing film. So
and
the Hawaii paper
and Drudge Report too. So it's like I just have an issue where like and it's not just discussing film. It's a lot of people were like, well, what about Dick Serto? It's like, yeah, what about Dick Serto? Like them too, And it was funny because maybe we can get into maybe this is a good segue into what they did with you.
Yep.
But that there is another a site that does do the same thing, where they just take from content creators. But Bleacher Report Gaming, they actually go into your DMs, they go into your replies, and they say, "Hey, we use this. Cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, so my side of this was that, again, before this, I think everybody. I mean, I've always been into movies, and I'm a journalism student, and I'm about to graduate. And I've ever had an or I've never been like looked up to them, right? But I don't
Are you
know.
a graduate student or
No,
undergrad?
undergrad. Yeah, so I'm about
Oh,
to
nice.
graduate. Yeah, but
Nice.
always kind of like looked into them. I also work in the movies. That's what I do on the side of college. But anyway, always looked up to them. So I posted the Easter egg of Lego Batman, and it was the 55 burgers, 55 tacos from Tim Robinson. It's from I Think You Should Leave. My girlfriend's a huge fan, and I've seen that clip many times of him in the drive-thru. And I found it in the game and posted it and didn't think anything about it. But, I use my Twitter account, and Radic. I'm very, I've been friendly with Radic, and yeah, he's awesome. I love him. And I just like to shit post on Twitter about video games. And, I'm not a journalist on Twitter, like by any means, but I like to just talk about stuff, and I like to discover stuff. I like to share those things, right? And thought it was really cool. I found that, and I hadn't seen anybody report on it, and it blew up. Like it went crazy. It's the biggest tweet I've ever had. And that was fun.
It was huge.
Yeah, and like Lego at me, and it was really cool. And yeah, Bleacher Report.
Lego attitude. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. It was cool. And
I'm always like, like brand accounts being a human is cringy, but like honestly, like when it happens to you, especially when you're not used to it, like
it's very fun. And yeah, I mean, I don't even think like, even if I was like famous and got all that, I don't think I would ever be. I would just it's always cool. You grow up looking at stuff like that. But
yeah. I actually know the girl who did the Wendy's tweet.
Do you really? That's
the
so
one
funny.
that God, what did she even tweet about? But it was Wendy's that kind of kickstarted this whole like sassy.
I love this the self-awareness corporation thing. I mean, I don't know, boring corporate shit's lame anyway.
And my friend started that, and she I have to tell you, she's literally like Oppenheimer right now. She's like, I'm sorry guys, I didn't know.
I'm sorry I dropped the atomic bomb and killed everybody.
The atomic bomb of corporate accounts or whatever. She was like, it was just a fun thing to do.
That's
and it was
so
it was
rad.
smart, and it was good. And then now everyone does it, and it's like she's like, oh God.
Shit. But yeah, so then Discussing Film picks it up, and they posted it, and they didn't use me as a source. Like it was like, I thought maybe they would add it. I at them and was like, what is this? And I was, this is how we kind of linked up, and I had DM'd you, like I was just, at first I was excited, but then the journalist inside me was like, this is really weird. And I don't understand. Like, I just feel like they'll kind of crush like small creators or people that find these things. And I just think it's weird. And I way more about Discussing Film and people that are doing this. But it's very strange. And I want to link this into like current journalism and gaming journalism. And is this where it's going? And yeah, it's just, I mean, I know there's some tethers to pull on, but it's very weird that it happened. And I guess they've been doing it to other people, right?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, and that's what a lot of these accounts do. They barely credit. Shout out to the accounts who do credit stuff.
It's not hard.
Like,
it's very easy.
But that's just the media ecosystem, though. Like, I get frustrated. Like, I'm not one of those people who hate Kotaku just based on Kotaku. Trust me, I've had my issues with the coverage in recent years as well, too. Right. But I want to be courteous and professional and say that I do respect their work, and I have respected a lot of their work too. But I also wrote a story about Hideo Kojima. Hideo Kojima is a recent art exhibit in New York City, and then that was aggregated by Kotaku, which is totally fine. I love that. That's cool, right? And of course they source it properly, so there's nothing wrong with that. But there was like a nuance to Kojima's feelings about AI that was just kind of lost in the rewrite, and I don't want to say that it was irresponsible or anything like that. I do like the reporter who did the aggregation, so I think it just you just lose something when you have another filter to just aggregate something.
Totally. Yeah.
And then so like I saw people on Reddit sharing that version of the story and saying, see, we totally the made Kojima change his mind about AI, and it's like he never changed his mind about AI at all. There was no pivot or anything like that. This is always consistent. And it's just now he's just able to say it a lot clearer because I asked him.
Right.
Yeah. And that was just never there because Kotaku kind of made it seem like it was a pivot when it really wasn't.
Yeah.
And that was really frustrating. So like, but this does come, like, I do come from that background though. The Washington Post has done it before. I've done it before. There was a story out of God, I forget which state, but it was somewhere in the Midwest where a 90-some-year-old lady had a life alert. She wasn't answering her life alert. She wasn't answering her phones. Her family couldn't get in touch with her, so people were worried. Something might have happened to her. So the police, went into her home, like did a life check and everything like that. And turns out she was just playing a game. She was just gaming.
That's
and that was
that's me,
Yeah.
definitely, when I'm old.
Totally, yeah, and that was a local story that I decided to aggregate. But the difference is that I did call the police department, and I got original quotes, I got original sourcing. I got footage from them and everything like that. And that's what we do at the Washington Post. When we do aggregate, we always try our best to at least retrace the reporting and do the reporting ourselves, so we can re-verify that, or well, I mean, that's the very least we should be doing. At least retrace and recover those steps as well. And something that I don't talk a lot about, but I used to work at the Huffington Post for a little bit too.
How long was that? How long did you work there?
Just a month and a half.
That's so funny.
It was just on contract because Huffington Post was starting up in Hawaii, and I was working for the company that was going to be the branch of that. So I ended up working on contract with Huffington Post.
Are they still in Hawaii? Do you know?
No. That totally closed down because who cares about the Huffington Post? Let's be for real. The Huffington Post is a bygone era of the 2010 to 2018 internet, but they were a major aggregator of news, and they never did their own reporting either. They would just take the site, they would link it, but they would just do like the Kotaku style of aggregation, which is so popular now.
I think,
and so that's just what the media ecosystem right now is. It's just really like it's just so much filters because everyone's just trying to cover the same thing. People see that certain stories really do well, so they want to cover that as well, and so they just kind of, and I called discussing film a parasite. But Jacob Fisher was really in his feelings about that, and I understand that. It's a harsh word, but I will use words like that. I will say that same word for BuzzFeed and Huffington Post. You are leeching off original work and trying to make it your own. I'll even say that I've done that before too.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I don't. So this is my take on it, is that I don't think I care about aggregators, or I think it's weird when you don't have a personal opinion about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're just, I don't know, just re-saying what was already said, like, why are you doing that? I know why you're doing that, because of money and to gain popularity, but it's like, why don't you just write a story? Like, I don't care if I don't agree with it or if I totally do agree with it. Do you know what I mean? Which I think all journalists are prone to that, of like, I mean, I do it all the time when I write stories. Like, I get sources from everywhere and I kind of make my own story, right? I think we all do that. But yeah, I think that's what bothers me the most about a lot of these accounts and gaming journalism. It's just they're like just saying things that's already been said, and it's like, just put your original take on it. Like that, I think it is cool that you said, I don't really mind Kotaku, because at least they have an original opinion. It might be clickbaity and it's a little annoying sometimes, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
I think that is a bare minimum, but to your point, to kind of push back a little bit about the having the original take, which I think you should be having, you're not wrong about that. But like, the problem with that though is that sometimes, like, when that take becomes like the popular thing, and it's like, okay, well, now this person is skewing the story to their perspective. Right. For example, like if a Moist Critical was able to cover a story, for example, right? So that just happened recently to my friend Brian Lotano over at IGN. Yeah. We just had a really, really cringy interview. Like, no one's denying this. It was a bad interview. He did a really bad interview with Zach Kreger, the director of Resident Evil, where he tried to make a joke about the Resident Evil 4 merchant, and Zach didn't know how to engage, and I
felt really bad watching it, and I watched the Moist. Sorry, I'll let you continue, but I just wanted to be known, like, I really felt weird watching that video, because I felt bad. I'm like, dude, Altano's a legend, and we're just gonna make fun of him. I'm like, I don't know. He's one of the greats, right, of gaming journalism, and it was weird that we were just making fun of him. It felt weird, So
and it's clear that a lot of people didn't know who he was, which is surprising. Like Charlie didn't even know who he was. Moist Critical, and it's the Moist Critical has his take on it, and now that is like the definitive perspective on what happened here, where this guy was trying to have some kind of gotcha, or was just being really unprofessional about it, versus Brian Lotano is a professional. He knows what he's doing, and he kind of fucked up here. That's it. That's literally it. He just kind of like had a bad bit. It was just a bad day. That's it. Yeah. And he actually has an explanation of that on the latest podcast Beyond, where
Oh, I
they
haven't
actually
seen
joke.
that.
Yeah, you should watch it. They actually
Yeah.
joke and talk about it. Where it's like, yeah, we talked to a lot of people, and every single conversation went perfectly fine.
And I know Altano too has like such a thick skin. Like he's been in the game for so long, so I'm sure it was like whatever. But yeah, it still sucks that people are just kind of like throwing him around.
Yeah, but he actually texted me thanking me for supporting him. So it's
Oh,
like,
that's so nice. That's so
you think
sweet.
he has a thick skin. Like a lot of people think I have a thick skin, and it's like I used to.
Yeah.
Trust me, like a lot of people see me kind of like, I don't want to say crashing out, but just just having being my feels
I
on
know.
Twitter. That changed ever since I was diagnosed with cancer. For folks who don't know, I'm a stage 4 cancer patient who's in remission. But that reality has kind of shifted my sensibilities. I used to be the journalist to say, "Hey, you got to tough it out, kid. You need a thick skin in this business." I used to say it all the time, and now it's like I got to remind myself to say it all the time too.
Those things will soften you. I lost my grandmother 3 months ago to cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry
And
about that.
no, I've learned a lot, and you're right. Like, not that your skin does go down, but it's like we're all just kind of human, and it's definitely I have more patience with people. I've learned that, like, I don't know, I'd rather just benefit people than like hurt their feelings, you know? I mean, I've never been a person to talk shit on Twitter or anywhere really. Like I will, but not really. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It makes you slow down and just we're all just human beings at the end of the day.
Yeah. So Brian was even stung by it too.
I don't have a
hurts,
thick skin at all, but I try to. I've gotten better over the times. Well, this leads me, Gene, to do you think that this gets better? And I mean by this of just like modern journalism, gaming journalism. And I've always been optimistic. And I'm like, is there going to be a renaissance? I don't know what that renaissance means, but do you think this gets better or do you think this is just going to continue to get worse and worse?
Like typically I would like to be hopeful and optimistic, but in the 20 years that I've been in this business, 44 now, 45, 23 years that I've been in this business, things have just been getting worse.
Yeah.
And I don't, like maybe in 2000, honestly, as far back as 2012, I was maybe still hopeful, but that started to change. Or people always like to blame Trump. Like honestly, it was starting to get worse before Trump.
Yeah.
Trump of course uses those mechanisms perfectly. I think it's just getting worse. There's no way around it. A lot of people are popping up their own niche sites and everything like that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be real. I just don't see any real future for that. And I feel the same as when I would get. I used to get job offers in magazines, and I'm like, that's not gonna work.
It's hopeless. I mean, as a student that's about to be into the work you feel I'm a dying breed, right? Like I'm chasing something that's kind of already dead, which is gaming journalism. And I'm open to all types of journalism realistically because I love to storytell.
You're creating content right now, so you're already doing your own thing.
And I've always
you're doing a better path right now.
Yeah, I've always like not been cringy of the content creator, but it's like I grew up reading. I'm 26, so I'm relatively young. But I grew up, watching Colin Moriarty or Greg Miller and reading their stuff. And I wanted to write in a magazine forever and Game Informer. And I talked to Brian Shea a couple weeks ago, the Brian, executive editor of Game Informer, and
he's a good guy.
Yeah, and it's weird to accept that this isn't the future. And I'm 26. I should be young. I should be adaptable, but I'm not.
Brian optimistic?
He's the more optimistic person that I've ever talked to, I would say.
I think he has to be because he is in a position of hiring and that's the thing. But it's like for me, again, I am in the larger media ecosystem. I see what's happening in CNN. I've been in the newsroom with the New York Times. I've been in the newsroom with local newspapers and local TV stations. It's all getting worse. Nothing's getting better.
Which, speaking of CNN, this is a good segue. Of course, and if they haven't seen it, but you talked about physical games on CNN, and I wanted to talk to you about that. Dude, what was that like? You got to go on CNN and talk about physical games. Where are you at with that? I have the question: Do we think they go back on their decision? But I in fact don't think they're going to, because it's kind of been a little longer than we thought. PlayStation that I'm talking about, of course. what do you think? Like, where are you at now? What are we, like, 4 weeks removed, 5 weeks removed from their
Well, what do
decision?
we think about the physical games thing?
Yeah.
You know what? Despite the fact that I'm not like that optimistic about games media or whatever like
Hmm.
that, I am actually more optimistic about the movement for physical media. I think the people who are being doomer about it. That includes my friend Colin, who says, this is a done
Yes.
deal. I don't think they quite understand how small of a decision this was. I don't think that this is some Sony wide supported decision. I believe it to be a deeply unpopular decision among inside the industry, and I wouldn't be surprised if there is some kind of conversation to kind of pull it back a little bit.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
I find it strange to hear so many people, content creators, everything that try to shut it down, which
mhm.
makes me worry about some kind of weird campaign going on because like I feel like that in the games info space there's a lot of that going on around too. So
Yeah, it's very strange. I mean, as you can see, I love physical media. I collect a lot of it, and I don't even know if I come from the place of oh, I want to own my game. I mean, I do, and I feel like that, but
Mhm.
I get more worried about. I talked to Jez about this in my last interview, and I had never really thought about it this way. And please correct me if I'm wrong, or if you get lost in this, because I can be wordy. But we were talking about, like, when I was little, the first time I was exposed to Halo was in a GameStop, and we were going through old games. I grew up with a single mom, and she was just like, you could play any game you want, and we found Halo, and they let me play it before, and, like, there was nothing like that. Like, when you're in the store with your parents and you pick up these games and you can see it physically and look at the manual.
Mhm.
And of course, we all know, like, digital storefronts are around now, and I don't know if there is that, like, the discoverability of games, right? Like,
Mhm.
that's the more interesting part that bothers me the most of the physical gaming aspect, is that the youth, like, we talked about the youth and how everybody plays Fortnite or Roblox. And I
Mhm.
think if you take physical games away, then you're just speaking to people our age, like me, you, these older people, because how are kids going to be exposed to these things on digital storefronts? Like, I know everybody has iPads in front of them, but I mean, does that make sense? Like, we go into Target or you go into Best Buy and
It makes a lot of sense completely. I totally vibe with that. I think you're speaking to something. This is something that makes me upset every time the people who are anti physical media, which for some reason exists. Like I don't know why that even
yeah,
exists at
like, it
all.
doesn't affect anybody.
It doesn't. It literally doesn't affect anybody. Like you are being anti to support a corporation because you're just annoyed about hearing it all the time.
Mhm.
But the anti-physical media folks always point to the numbers, and it's like, of course the numbers are there. You're not the smartest person in the
Yeah.
room for pointing this out,
Yeah.
right? We've known this for about 12, 15 years. But you are speaking to something that is invisible and valuable and not quantifiable. You can't put a data set on that. And like
Yeah.
and it's disappointing that why we are only prioritizing things that we know we can easily you know God, to just put into a spreadsheet or whatever, versus that feeling of community
Yeah.
that really begins to form. It's invisible webs of community that forms
Mhm.
when you have a place. And this is a very inelegant meta analogy, and I don't think it's quite correct. But imagine if dating was only through your apps, and they decided you can't meet somebody anymore.
Organically. Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
yeah, no, I agree.
organically.
Yeah.
Like I think about people, I made this point before, and I made it on CNN as well. Books and movies and music all still get physical media, and of course, obviously, video games are different because the proprietary nature of a PlayStation disc versus an Xbox disc, etc. But that's an issue that the industry doesn't seem to want to solve, and they don't see the value of people who love reading. If you want to find other readers, what do? You either go to the library or you go to a bookstore. You find other
Mhm.
people. If you want to date another reader, you go to a bookstore and you flirt with the prettiest girl you see, or the girl that's reading the thing you want to see
Yeah.
right there, right? I know that's a really really tough concept to hold for a lot of incel gamers out there, but like it's really
Mhm.
nice to be able to go outside and meet people and touch a thing and hold a
Yeah.
thing, as opposed to just fucking downloading every single thing like on your goddamn phone or your fucking
Yeah.
Xbox or your PC or whatever like that. That's not human behavior. It
No,
really
it's not.
isn't.
I mean, I think you raise a good point. Like, it is a little incelly. Like, I love to go outside. I love to talk to people. I mean, I'm a very loud person, and
Mhm.
I've never been the type of person to go into like I have been lately. There's a retro game store like 5 minutes away from my
There
apartment,
you go.
and I go there and I will talk to people. It's like being in a bar, and I'm surrounded by all of these things that I love. And again, gamers aren't, a lot of them are not like me or you. Like, I'm very talkative and very outgoing, and
Yep.
a lot of them don't really want to, but I think there is a small group that are, and I've met a lot of people up here, and
Mhm.
I don't know what, once you go away, like, it's never going to get better. And
Exactly.
I really hope, and Jason Schreier talked about, have you been watching his videos? They're awesome.
No, I don't. I don't watch. Yeah.
Jason Schreier. But he did raise a good point over the physical media thing about how go to your local library and buy it. Like, the way to support this is go to the local library, which you brought up, which I think is a great
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
I hadn't even thought about that. Like, I don't ever go to the library to get games, but it is yeah, you can't recreate memories like I have with my mom or grandparents going to these stores, and that will go away.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm aggravated on many ways, but yeah, dude, it sucks, and I just don't. I just like, I pray that Sony just says something. That's what's pissing me off the most is like,
Mhm.
people talk shit about Xbox, but at least Asha's talking. Of course, they haven't talked about this thing, and like, we'll probably get the digital or digital thing. But I'm just so aggravated on Sony just not talking. I just,
Look, my theory is that this wasn't even a PlayStation decision.
oh, you think it's like,
I think it's Sony.
really?
I think you know how everybody says, oh, it's Satya putting down the iOS on
Yeah.
Xbox. I think this is the iOS on PlayStation.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, of course you can compare it to vinyls. It's very different, right? It's very different. It's a lot easier to make vinyls. Why would they, and they still make vinyls, or they're still making Blu-ray? Like, wouldn't they have stopped making movies as well if it's a Sony decision, or no? Like, they made the Blu-ray. I'm referring to the vinyl player that they tweeted about. I don't know if you saw it.
I think PlayStation, their profit margin, that they just spend too much and bringing in too little,
Mhm.
and and again, this isn't part of a fault of PlayStation management. Is that
Yeah.
like maybe you shouldn't have bought Bungie.
I know.
That really didn't turn out all that well. Maybe you shouldn't have bought Bungie affiliated company that made Concord.
Right.
There's some story there about what Bungie did with Sony for sure. In terms of how they were able to finagle a deal, and then also that one of their executives left the company, formed their own company, and then Sony bought that too.
I know.
Like, what were those Bungie executives selling to Sony to make them spend that money? I think that's a real story.
Yeah,
But-
and there's so much to talk about there, and it's to be a fly on the wall to see when they looked at Last of Us Online, like Bungie going in there and being like, no, like, it's gonna cost too much. It's like, you would have just had your Fortnite there. I mean, I know Colin did the interview with Del Walker, which there was a little bit of stuff that nobody really reported on, which was really interesting. I don't know if you watched that interview.
Oh yeah, I still need to listen to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he talked. I mean, he made a lot of stuff in the game. Like, it's very fascinating.
He sure did. He sure did. Yeah, going back to why I don't watch Jason Schreier anymore. I just don't watch any more gaming content anymore.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to step back from it, right? I remember there was a tweet or you talking about how you wanted to step back from gaming a little bit, right?
I think gaming sucks right now.
Yeah, that's hard.
It's not fun. It's not fun to talk about. But I also and I just tweeted about this too. I hate being up to date on gaming news. I think it's stupid, and I think it's a stupid way to live. I hate knowing when, like, oh my god, Resident Evil Code, Resident Evil was my favorite fucking series of all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hate knowing when Code Veronica is gonna come out. Most of my life is, oh shit, a new Resident Evil. When did that come out?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
And then I would buy it, and I would have the greatest fucking time of my life, and I would just
That's so
I
interesting.
wouldn't hear any commentary. I wouldn't hear anything. I was just like, oh, I love this game. I'm having so much fun. Oh my god, there's a new Mario out. What the hell? Like, that's crazy. I'll buy that. And I'll check that out. And doesn't that sound like you're a regular casual gamer? Really?
Yeah. No, it sounds awesome, Gene, because you have to think, I'm 26. I've never really known anything different. I mean, I'm the last generation that grew up with technology and without technology simultaneously, right? Like, I remember there was a time like that for me as a kid, but once I got to be like 15, 16, that's when I started, reading a lot of this journalism. So I've really never known that. And God, I would love to be like, oh my God, Wolverine is out. Like, oh my, oh my
Yeah,
God.
exactly. Yeah.
That would,
Well,
I don't know what that's like.
Here's the thing, though. It's because you're a journalist and you're a young journalist. So, like, trust me, like, when I was your age, I was always, like, tapped into, like, well, not gaming journalism, but I was tapped into, like, political news, local news. I knew when certain hearings were coming up, that kind of stuff, So you are hyper informed in your specific field or interest. So that makes sense. For me, gaming was never part of my beat. I never wanted to become a gaming journalist in the first place. I got into journalism because I wanted to cover music.
That's right. Yeah.
Like if I got to choose which of the mainstream major entertainment mediums we have today, gaming second, music is number one for me. I love music more than anything else. And then gaming just kind of happened. But I was like that as a gamer all the way up until 2019, where I just wouldn't know when a game is out because I wasn't paying attention.
I'm so jealous. That's amazing.
Yeah, I famously, and I always trying to mention this because this is why I never talk about Gamergate. I had no fucking idea what Gamergate was. 2014, all I was doing was playing Dark Souls 2 and partying and having a great time, having a great life, and I played Dark Souls 2 a lot.
Yeah.
And then, you know how I found out about what Gamergate was?
How did you find out?
I tapped into my favorite content creator, Angry Joe, and he had his top 10 controversies of 2014, and I was like, oh, let me see what I missed. And then number one, sure enough, I forgot what number two was, but definitely number one was Gamergate. I was like, oh, what the fuck is Gamergate? And then he was like, it's about ethics and gaming journalism. Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because I assume not even to go back to physical media, but that's how could you imagine finding out in next year or 2028 is when physical media stops being made? Like, could you imagine being like, oh, they're not making physical games anymore? I guess the normal person probably doesn't care realistically, but I wish that I was like that to just be like, wow, that's a new game.
That's great, yeah, and that's what I'm trying to get back to because again, like I was doing it all the way up to 2019, and everyone was pretty much online from then on, So I was very online too, but I just didn't pay attention to the gaming space that much, and I enjoyed gaming so much more, engaging in that way.
Yeah. Well, Gene, before I let you go. Which I know you have to go in just like about 5 minutes, but
I'm having fun. We can talk a little bit more. We can push it up to the hour.
I want to talk about Spider-Man with you.
Okay.
I know we're going somewhere completely different here. But I haven't talked about it on the record, and I want to talk about it on the record.
Do you want to spoiler talk?
Yeah, spoilers. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it. I don't know. Yeah, spoilers for sure. What do you think?
So my review, I don't know if you read my review. I gave it 3 out of 4 stars. I wanted to be more critical of it, and I can be. And I don't want to. Do we really want to get into spoilers?
We're talking about all spoilers. I will also when I post it, I'll say I'm talking about Spider-Man, and there's spoilers.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, okay. And put in the title or something too, because that could be fun for your title. An early spoiler talk on YouTube. That could be good. I thought all the 2 main characters thing only bothered me when it came to the Hulk. I love the Hulk. I love the Hulk as a character. I hate seeing him always being used as like a plot device for oh, here comes the danger. Oh my God, Bruce Banner. What's he gonna do this time? Is he gonna go crazy? That's exactly what happens. It's literally the same story beat as was in Avengers 1 all the way back in 2008, bro.
Right. I think I've been tired. I am exhausted of Smart Hulk. So I think it was refreshing to see like Hulk go crazy, but I do know what you mean. Yeah, it's a little annoying that it's like, I think it's annoying to just have Hulk in the movie, to be honest, like it's a Spider-Man movie. And that is one of my biggest issues is that again, spoilers, but the third act is not really a Spider-Man movie. It's a Jean Grey movie. And why do you call it Spider-Man if you have all of these other heroes? Like that is my biggest issue, especially with the supporting cast. I'm very exhausted of. I don't have any emotion tied to it, and this movie expects you to have emotions tied to these characters. And And that's kind of my biggest thing. I mean, what did you think about the supporting cast? Like being MJ and Ned.
MJ and
yeah,
Ned.
like, do you feel like you're attached to those characters?
That's my issue, and I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that like we just haven't had much time chilling with Tom and the cast, you know?
No.
Because it's always like, you know, literally the first time Tom is introduced into the MCU, he's an Avenger. He's hanging out with Iron Man, and now he's fucking fighting Captain America, and he beat Captain America. That's crazy already.
Yeah.
This is his first thing he does, right? And then in his own movie, you know, he's being tutored by Iron Man, which is cool. And thankfully, a lot of that movie is high school. So I love Homecoming because of that, because it's still pretty much a high school story. You know, I still think my favorite scene in all the MCU Spider-Man movies is the conversation he has with Michael Keaton in the car as they're driving.
That car scene is the coolest thing ever.
I think that's the coolest fucking scene. I think right there is a microcosm of everything I love about Spider-Man. At least, you know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Totally. I mean, the balance and like the identity. I mean, it's the best part of Peter Parker.
Yeah, and Far From Home was cool because at least it was a field trip or whatever like that. But it's like, you know, like again, they're literally far from home, so it's like it's a whole different thing. You just have to adjust to that. You know, so you don't really get to see these characters in their element. No Way Home is just a clusterfuck of a multiverse of bullcrap. It was fun when I saw it, but man, it does not hold up on rewatches, man. It
doesn't at all. Yeah,
it's really bad on rewatches. It's fun when you see it and you're getting all the member berries, and I love seeing Toby, and Andrew was great in it too. A lot of great jokes, a lot of great scenes. You know, like as vignettes of scenes, it's cool, but as an entire project itself, it's fucking stupid.
I agree.
And it's like we just wasted like all that time on this crap, right? As opposed to really getting to know Peter. And then they use this thing as a catalyst for the real tragedy in this Peter's life, which is the death of Aunt May. And then, so that's why now we're seeing the consequences of that in this movie. So it's frustrating to see, like, you know, like I really hate people seeing people say like, "Oh man, this is a Spider-Man movie I've always wanted," and it's like, yeah, this is the fourth one though.
Yeah,
this is the fourth one. Guess how many tries Raimi got it, the first one.
Yeah.
Guess how many tries the comics did it. Like even Ultimate Spider-Man by Brian Michael Bendis back in the early 2000s. Guess how many tries, how many issues it took to get Spider-Man right for that one. The first issue, right away. You know,
I was talking about Mark Bagley today, which is the artist.
Mark Bagley, dude, he's gold. I love him so much, dude.
He's so good. I love his art, and
his style is so perfect.
No, I think you raise a great point. The whole thing I've had with the Home trilogy is that, again, I sound like a broken record, but it's the supporting cast. Like MJ isn't MJ. Ned Leeds is not Harry, which is fine. He's Genki, with Miles, and
he's Genki,
basically. Yeah, which is fine. I've always felt like you should have just had Miles Morales here. Like that's kind of what I've always thought. I just don't know why you have a character named MJ if she's not an actress. And I mean, she can even be a journalist, right? Like the Insomniac games, or a photographer. Yeah. And that I was hoping in Brand New Day that I'm like, okay, here's the soft reboot. Of course, Cretton is fighting an uphill battle, and you can kind of feel it in the movie. He's fighting a battle to undo these. You
totally feel it.
Yeah, these webs being unstrung, and it's like I was just hoping that the job interview MJ went for was like, I think I want to switch to being an actress, or I went to the Bugle, or like just like come on, like please do something. Why
right? Because part of the appeal of MJ is that she is like this ideal woman, like idealized actress. She's got to be young Anne Hathaway or something like that.
That's great.
Yeah, it's like when I think about MJ, like Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway's my age, incredibly. Like I can't believe it, dude.
Yeah. Her in the Odyssey. Oh my god, I elevated.
She looks like she's still 23. She looks fucking amazing. But yeah, like when I think about MJ, I think about Anne Hathaway. I think about Charlize Theron. She has to be this ideal woman.
Which Zendaya can be. I really think she can
totally
be.
Zendaya is like one of the most beautiful women on earth.
I know.
For fuck's sake,
It's crazy.
So it's crazy that they kind of just slub her up and just like turn her into Glipso Shadow girl,
and I think
she's a little goblin,
Yeah, and it makes the thing is like with these like when she's not that, it makes Peter feel flat for the most part. Like why is he in love with her? Like what does she do for him? Like it's just so unbelievable.
Right.
It's not believable for me. And Yeah, I mean, I rewatched it for the second time last night.
Yeah,
And I'm
because they
just
just fell in love in Far From Home, right? Like because in Homecoming, like they didn't even fucking know each other. They were just bullying each
right.
other.
Yeah, and at the
And then
end, she's like, "I'm
And now in
MJ,"
Far
and
From Home, they love each other. Like, damn,
yeah,
dude.
and it's just weird. Like Raimi, he got it. Like he made a movie, and I've always said like all of his Spider-Man movies, for the most part, they're movies first, and they just so happen to have a superhero in it, right? And not that I expect that from the MCU, and I do think Brand New Day is way. I mean, it's way more a step in the right direction. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is just the uphill battle, and like Jean Grey in a Spider-Man movie, she's a terrorist. I don't know. I just like very weird. Did it work for
Jean
you?
Grey. All right, let's talk about Jean Grey. All right, so how do I feel about Jean Grey? I was so fucking worried as soon as I saw basically it was confirmed right in the movie, and I was just like, oh my fucking god, here we go. Right?
Were you hoping that it wasn't going to be like? Did you knew going in that it's probably going to be Jean Grey?
I was hoping it wasn't going to be it. You know,
I was hoping we got lied to. Like all the reports were lies, and it was just going to be a shocker.
I was like, just please give us a fucking Spider-Man movie for fuck's sake, man. This doesn't need to be X-Men, but. I was surprised to see how little X-Men and mutant stuff was in it.
Mm-hmm.
It did write Jean to me mostly focus as a reflection of Peter, which was interesting. I don't mind her so much as a terrorist who literally fucking killed people in this movie. That was crazy, right? She literally fucking kills people. Like that old guy, remember? He just walks into traffic.
No, I know. Dude. Well, Gene, do you know what I noticed on my second rewatch with this movie?
Oh, you watched it 2 times. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
So
I kind of want to watch the second time. For sure.
I saw it as like a press screening, and then I saw it last night for the Prime thing. What I noticed about it, Gene, you've played Insomniac Spider-Man, right? 1 and 2. You know what I've noticed about this movie? I want you on your second watch to watch it, and imagine if Jean Grey is Mr. Negative. You can tell that this whole script was written with Mr. Negative. And that character was Mr. Negative. Like it was supposed to be a reflection of Peter. She's controlling people. I mean, even in the earliest the set pictures of the tank had the logo of Mr. Negative.
Yeah.
So I'm like convinced that this was like a last minute decision, and Feige was like, actually, we need an X-Man. And I don't know. I just want you to watch it, and I'm like, wait.
Oh man, no. I don't even need a second watch, man. I know exactly what you're talking about. It is almost 1-to-1 now that I think about it, that this could easily be a Mr. Negative story.
Yeah, and it made me feel very weird.
Yeah, because Negative is a tragic character too. He can mind control people, he can jump people, he can find people's inner blah 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 or whatever, inner struggle.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, you totally just ruined Jean Grey for me.
No, I know. And I was like, oh shit. Like I sat there and was like, why did I? But it's like, I just love Spider-Man PS4. I've played it many times, and I was just watching it and I'm like, shit, Martin Lee should have been in this movie. But it would have been too similar to Insomniac. And I'm sure like that was the problem, that it was too similar to Insomniac, and that's why things were changed. But that, I mean, I saw a complaint too that it just feels like a mirror of everything. Like it's just pulling from everything that's good from Spider-Man.
That is basically what it is, though. Like they basically formed her into a Spider-Man character. And they remove almost all identity other than the fact that she has telepathic powers, and her sister is Sarah, and now she's on the run.
Yeah.
So like I don't mind her being a terrorist, because I think that would be like that's going to come into play in a later X-Men movie, movie where it's like, well, Jean Grey did all this shit, and it's like, yeah, she sure did.
Yeah.
That's going to come up in the Senate hearing, probably starting Robert Downey Jr. again, because they can't stop hiring him.
Don't do that to him. He's gonna be Professor X. I hope
he's going to be who's the senator that leads against.
You're talking about. I was watching
X-Men
87 today.
Who is it? Robert Kelly.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's Robert Kelly, but Robert Kelly is in the Bryan Singer films as the. You're talking about Trask?
Maybe Trask. I guess Senator Kelly. Yeah.
Okay.
He was played by Peter Dinklage in the
Days of Future Past.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah.
Well, he'll probably be Senator Kelly or something. Yeah. But that's all gonna come up.
Which sucks, because I think Sadie Sink's awesome, and I would love to have seen her as Jean Grey, just not in a Spider-Man movie. But
right,
it's not my world.
I popped off when she like demonstrated her powers when she went fucking nuts, and I was like, okay, finally, at least we're showing Jean Grey as powerful because she is like
very
Omega powerful.
Yeah.
Uh,
and the VMAX thing, how weird was that? The VMAX. I thought it was gonna be this cool big MacGuffin, but then it just happened to be. I mean,
it was just a red herring. Yeah, just a red herring.
All right.
It's interesting, and Tramell Tillman, who's in one of my favorite shows, Severance. He was okay in this one.
They should have just made him Norman Osborn, and that's where I'm at with that.
There's just no Norman in this. There's no Osborn in this universe. Right?
Gene, to end this, I just have to accept that this isn't my favorite Spider-Man interpretation, and I just need to accept. I can't though. I care too much. I don't know. I just need to shut up about Spider-Man.
No, it sucks. Like, trust me. Like, I love Tom Holland as Peter Parker. I just hate the universe that he's in. You know,
I know. I'm like, put this guy in a comic book at this point.
Yeah, can we just can we just remove him from the MCU now? I know that's gonna be impossible, and that's not what Sony even wants. But it's like, you know, I've always had an issue with Tom Holland's Spider-Man because they're trying to retrofit him into Marvel Universe when Spider-Man should have been the first person that
Did you watch Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the animated one on Disney Plus?
No, not that one.
I recommend
Spectacular.
Yeah, Spectacular is awesome. I recommend Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man because it feels. I mean, it is what Spider-Man should have been in the MCU. Like Uncle Ben is kind of in it, but Aunt May is more of like the Tomei character, and it just feels like this is how Spider-Man should have been introduced.
I love Marissa Tomei as Aunt May, but I just love Marissa Tomei in general.
I know, and she's she's like a beautiful goddess. She's
she should be fucking MJ for fuck's sake.
No, she would be a perfect.
Oh my
MJ.
God!
No, I know.
She totally just passed that. I know it's weird now because she's his mom, but
whatever. Well, Gene, thank you so much for hopping on here and talking about journalism and Spider-Man. I didn't know we would go in that direction, but I'm always happy to talk about comic books.
No, trust me, I've been like chomping on the bits to talk about Spider-Man, and it's frustrating because unfortunately, nobody at Last Stand Media cares about Marvel, the fucking normie ass Marvel, but nobody on the network actually knows anything about Marvel.
Does nobody read comics? I feel like Dustin read comics.
Dustin, it was either Dustin
movies, but he's out.
It was either Dustin or Chris who said, "I don't know who Venom is. I only know Venom through Spider-Man 3," and it's like, wow.
No, that's Dustin. I feel like Chris he loves Spider-Man, so I don't know, but.
Okay, yeah, it's like, wow, that is such a that is the worst way to be introduced to Venom. That's for sure.
And again, if people are listening and they don't know who you are, where can they find you? You're at the Washington Post? Where can they read your stuff at?
Yeah, just Google Washington Post Gene Park. You'll find my author page, and you can click down all of my articles. I've been writing a lot about music, which is I'm finally living my dream. I'm a music writer right now.
Hell yeah.
Why I write about movies as well. I write about everything, cool. that includes games. My next piece is going to be a surprise one. I'll tell you after we get offline. Okay.
Sweet.
But it'll be about music and games. But it'll be a good one. I think a lot of people will like it.
Well, thank you so much, Gene. I appreciate it, man.